Hey, my foodie family, welcome back. I missed you guys. Glad you came back and had a look at what we're cooking today. We're making some braised pork ribs. These are kind of like what Nona would make on a Sunday afternoon before the whole family came by for dinner. In a Dutch oven, I'm using about 2 tablespoons of oil. I typically use olive oil. It has the best taste. And it's polyunsaturated, so it makes it healthy for you. So we're bringing that up to temperature. And I got 2 racks of pork side ribs here that I've cut into individual ribs. And I'm going to brown those in the Dutch oven. We're going to make single layers so that the meat doesn't exude a lot of juice and make this all stewy instead of brown. So just put enough in a single layer. We're going to have to do this 2 or 3 times until we get all the ribs nice and brown. We're adding salt and pepper to season. You could use whatever you like as far as seasoning goes. You could make this a bit spicy and add some pepperoncino as well, or some hot pepper flakes. Sorry, I got lost for words there for a second. So now you see that one side is beautifully browned. I flipped them over and I'm doing the same seasoning on the other side. As they brown, I'm going to take them out and then start another layer. You can see that at the bottom of this Dutch oven, some of the fond has baked onto the pot. That will be absolutely delicious when we start making the gravy that goes along with these ribs. If you can imagine the smell, if you walked into Nona's house around 10 o'clock in the morning, and she'd be browning up ribs and chicken and sausage and putting it into some red gravy. This is the smell that's coming off this pot right now. It's yummy. Now I keep talking about Nona. I'm not even Italian, but I wish I had a Nona. Seasoning these again. We want to make sure that all the ribs are seasoned so they all taste good. Now I've removed all the ribs, and once they're brown, I'm adding 1 large onion that's sliced and 2 tablespoons of garlic. Yep, lots of garlic. It's going to taste good. We're going to saute the onions until they start to get soft. And we're also, because of the juices from the onions, we're going to be picking up the fond from the bottom of the pan. It's going to add a ton of flavor. Now that the onions are soft, we're going to add 2 28 ounce cans of Italian style tomatoes. These are plum tomatoes with the juice, and they're whole. So you might need to squish them down a little bit so that they make a beautiful gravy. Now this recipe does take a long time to cook, so you really do need to start it in the morning if you want to have this for Sunday lunch. So get the plum tomatoes into little pieces. We want to make sure they break down into the sauce. No one wants to get a couple of ribs with a whole plum tomato on their plate. Now I'm adding 1 jar of passata. If you don't have passata, crushed tomato is also the same thing. So I'm using 1 jar And then I'm going to fill the jar with some water because I need some more liquid here. And I've added the jar of water as well. That way you get every little bit of tomato that was inside that jar into your pot. It's starting to look yummy. Oh, there was a big tomato there. I forgot to squish. Now adding the ribs back into the pot. Because they need to, I mean, they're not cooked. In fact, they're probably going to be pretty tough if you try to eat them now. But we're putting them back into the pot so that they would braise and pick up all the delicious tomato flavor that's in that pot right now. Tomato, garlic, onions. Can't get any better. I mean, once you eat all the ribs out of this, the sauce is phenomenal on pasta. I mean, you just got to try it. I mean, cut this recipe in half if you want to, but I made it for the whole crew. We all had ribs and spaghetti and tomato sauce and cheese. It was yummy. And make sure all the ribs get underneath the liquid. That way they'll braise and get soft and tender. I've covered the Dutch oven. I've put it in a 350-degree oven. And it needs about 2 hours or so. You need to check after 2 hours and see if it needs any longer. But there's a bowl full of ribs. Come and join me and have some pasta and pork ribs with tomato sauce. It's yummy. If you love the recipe, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to the channel and click like. Thanks for stopping by for some more food that warms your soul. See you next time.